All right, so I was born on the same land that Huey P. Newton was born on. Monroe, Louisiana, Northern Bayou. My mama was born on the same land that Huey P. was born on, and my daughter, even though she was conceived in another state, I went home and had that baby on that same land, because I know that the reality that I personally endured in the rural South was nothing pretty. And we didn't have organizations to look to. That's why Huey left, because the oppression was so deep at home. He had to go elsewhere and find others, because unfortunately, when you look to many rural areas of the South in particular, there's not enough of us who think about liberation, who know what Africa is. So when I found myself in Dallas, Texas, this was the mid-90s, and I was hosting some poetry readings and art shows. The consciousness was developing, but I'm thankful to say that my OG chose me. All right? I didn't go looking for him. Evidently, there was something in me that he saw that he was willing to nurture. And let me just touch on something, because there are a lot of elders and babas and ones out there who will look at you for your physical characteristics and decide that they have an alternate agenda. But this OG of mine, Bandeli Tahimba, rest in Pan-Africa, that brother came to me and he said, "Hey, little African." And I was uncomfortable the first time I got called an African. Let me be clear on that. All right? Because, see, that's something that many of us are not willing to admit. You know, there are levels to it, but as a barely 20-year-old person, to be called an African by someone as powerful as Brother Bandeli was an opportunity for me to step into my next self. And so he said, "Why don't you come over to my bookstore? I have a Pan-African bookstore over on Beckley Avenue, and I think that the work that you're doing would be best suited over there." And so I left a little bougie art gallery and I went over to the Pan-African Connection. But see, there was a catch to it. Yes, I would have my poetry readings, but the poetry readings would always end in political education classes. And I'm telling you, there would be some people that would be sitting around the table. It's 12. It's 1 o'clock. Okay. All right, when is he going to stop talking about this? But he took that as an opportunity to plant seeds in curious minds. And so me doing the work there as a poetry event coordinator then turned into, "Say, African, I gotta go, and I got this meeting. Do you think you could hold the store down for me for a little bit?" So now he's jumping me in the game of African store operations, all right? So now I'm learning about African beads, cowrie shells, all of the books, all of the early stationery, the clothing, everything that you could imagine in the form of statues and masks from all around Africa. I had to sign up for that. So he taught me how to run the cash register. And now let me just put it out there. By this time, I was already refusing the ideology around corporate America. So he's showing me a whole different way of process. And so when you're talking about OGs, it's someone seeing a light in you and being willing to add their light to it, because there were many powerful people who walked through those doors who are now ancestors that I had the pleasure of being in the same space with. And so by the time early 2005 came around, he then said to me, "Hey, I got this shea butter right here, and I got this raw black soap over here. Why don't you take it home and see what you could do with it?" So I went back to my mama's kitchen in Louisiana, and I started working the recipes, and you know, next to never was the recipe wrong. Was there a problem with it? And so 18 years later, I can say that because of that brother, I have yet to have a job like since. Like I haven't had a job. My only work has been working to make certain that the people are good through the vein of Honeysuckle Moon. And that is a tactic of black liberation. I'm one person. There's no telling who else he did that for. But I can speak to how that positively affected my life. And so now we're nearly 20 years into this thing, and he's now gone on with the ancestors, but me and his wife will be connecting for a conversation next month. And so what that lets me know is while they were raising their youths, she sees me as one of those who was also valuable enough to be cultivated by her king. And now she sees that the work is beneficial enough to where she can sit with me, I can sit with her, we can sit with the people, and we continue to build upon that. And so I just encourage you, if you have children, if you have young ones who, you know, you feel like need to be placed on a certain path, find a righteous elder. Don't find an older. Because there's a lot of old fools out there who I run far away from. Don't come near me if you think you got some game. If you think I'm hot, don't come near me. I deal from the heart chakra up. So when you look for individuals who move in that spiritual vein, let them do martial arts with your babies. Let them do arts with your youth. Inspire them, because you have no idea how that seed may end up changing the trajectory of your family and everything that we stand for as a people.